Let me have the parties identified.
Julie Panger with the department. Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Heather Eubanks. And I'll just throw in that it's my understanding, I believe I saw a proposed order of termination come in on Thursday or Friday.
Jennifer Garlett, Supervisor.
Heather Eubanks, Permanency Specialist.
Macy Redfern and McKenna Shelton with CASA.
Okay. Aubrey is with her grandmother still, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. She's still placed with her grandmother. Her kinship worker is working with her on assisting her in getting the grandmother on assisting her in getting licensed so that she's able to adopt Aubrey. On last week, we did come to the agreement, and I don't know the legality of all that, but yes, the father agreed to the termination with an open adoption agreement.
Okay, any concerns with Aubrey?
No, ma'am, she's doing great at school. She's really caught up this year. She's seeing a counselor through a service that's offered to foster kids in Texas. It's a grad program that happens throughout Texas. She has a gentleman named AJ who she meets with weekly at Mahon Library, and they go over anything that she may need help with at school. She enjoys art. She loves the art program at school. She also kind of dabbled in basketball a little, but decided that maybe that wasn't for her. She is a pretty happy kid. She is very artistic. She's healthy. She's up to date on all of her medical and dental appointments. She does not take any type of medications. She is seeing her brother, supposed to be bi-monthly. We are having some issues with that. I've talked to CASA about it, as well as Mr. Shaw about, and the brother's placement about visitation. She says that she wants to see her brother more. And so we are working on that, but that's been the only issue when it comes to Aubrey in the case.
Where is her brother?
He is placed with the paternal family, and she's placed with her maternal grandmother.
Okay, how far apart are they?
They both live in Lubbock. That's not the issue. So it's just getting them to work together. That's all.
I see. Okay, Mr. Shaw is involved in a jury trial this morning and couldn't be here, but didn't indicate that he had any concerns regarding Aubrey. CASA, concerns with Aubrey?
She's been doing well. We recommend that she stay placed with her grandmother. And we hope that she can keep working through that adoption process. We know she struggled a little bit just accessing a computer to get some of that done. But hopefully with St. Francis's help, she's getting that finished. And then as far as her counseling with a therapist, Ms. Rosales has said that she's having trouble getting in contact with the therapist. So Aubrey hasn't been since, I believe, January. So we just recommend that those visits continue, whether we have to find someone new or just get more in contact with the therapist. CASA has also reached out to the therapist and did not hear back either.
Okay, the therapist that you're talking about, is it the one through the program that Ms. Eubanks mentioned, or is it Dr. Wilbanks?
Dr. Wilbanks.
Okay. Let's see if we can switch therapists. And it sounds like maybe we already did, but if we need another one besides Dr. Wilbanks and the guy that's meeting with him at Mahon, then let's do that.
Great.
Okay. All right. Anything else on Aubrey? I'm grateful that the parties were able to work this out for this little girl. That's awesome. Okay, we'll have another review hearing.
Adoptive placement. Ms. Dixon is with me today.
Sarah Hudman, attorney for intervener grandmother Lisa Rezabeck.
Okay, Mr. Shaw is the attorney and guardian ad litem, couldn't be here. Bain is with the foster home, the Dixon family. How are we doing in that home?
Bain is doing very well, Your Honor. He is just thriving and he's been well taken care of. He had some medical issues. He had the medical procedures done this past month. He got his tonsils removed and his adenoids removed, and also got his tubes out of his ears. So, but he's recovering pretty good. They're just putting some eardrops on his eardrums, and it's coming along real well. And just a young little whippersnapper.
Young little whippersnapper. I like it.
Yep.
Okay. No health issue, no other health issues at all?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And he's on target as far
He's
as
on
we know?
target. Yes.
Okay. Very good. Ms. Dixon, hey, I think I see him in the box. He's a cutie. Ms. Dixon, you want to unmute yourself, or are you scared to unmute yourself?
No, I will. They just may be a little loud.
All right, Ms. Dixon, any issues at all? Does Bane need anything at all?
No, he's done really good after the procedure. He didn't have any issues and he's recovering really well, and that's helped with his hearing. So speech thinks he should be able to be exited from the program pretty soon.
He's a cute little boy. Ms. Hudman, any concerns on behalf of your clients regarding Bane?
Not that have been expressed to me, Judge.
Okay. All right, very good. It looks like maybe we have an adoption set in like 3 days.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is that in front of me?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a good answer. All right, very good.
I guess, Leanne, do you and I need to talk about this?
What do you mean?
I believe my client, the agreement was that she be pled in and that she be a possessory conservator.
Well, I think that's a separate order. It's an order that survives the adoption. It doesn't change the adoption. I thought you were doing that order, or that it was already done. But
Okay.
that's separate and apart from the adoption. I mean, you're welcome to come and participate.
Well, I mean,
but
I just need to look at it to make sure my client's rights are protected. I didn't realize we had an adoption set.
yeah, I think the termination order reflects that you have a separate order that survives the adoption.
Okay.
Okay. We'll have another review hearing August the 14th at 9 if we need one, but it doesn't sound like we will. And I will see the Dixon family and perhaps the Rezabecs on the 13th.
Guardian ad litem.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
And placement is present.
Ms. Barnes, are you there, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Barnes, tell me how Zamarian is doing.
As you can hear, he's screaming and singing. And he is doing amazing. He can count to 15. He is very independent and determined. Once he makes up his mind, that's pretty much what he's going to do. He is a joy. He is funny. He's kind and caring.
Okay, any medical issues at all?
Only thing he has is seasonal allergies, which leads to asthma.
Okay. All right, and he just turned 2. Hopefully, we
Yes,
had a
ma'am.
big old birthday party for him, I hope. All right.
I did. He enjoyed it.
Good. Ms. Ebeline, any concerns with Zamarian?
No, Your Honor. We zoomed and he's just doing great.
Ms. Reyes, concerns with Zamarian?
No, ma'am, not at all. Zamarian's doing amazing. He's growing. He's just the sweetest little boy ever. He did just turn 2 last week, so we're submitting subsidy tomorrow, and we should be getting negotiations pretty quickly and then getting a date for adoption.
Okay, all of that sounds very good. Anything else for Zamarian?
No, ma'am.
Okay, if we need another review hearing, it'll be August the 14th at 9.
Julie Panger with the department. Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Jalissa Morales.
And Jennifer Garlett, supervisor.
Linda Ebling ad litem for the children.
Leanne Fouts for the mother, Francis Zapata.
Lindsay Murray for Beto Ortiz.
Okay, Got 5 kids in several different placements. Just kind of go through the placements for me and tell me where the kids are and how they're doing.
Yes, ma'am. Gabriel was placed in Amarillo's. He was playing football at Friendship. He's currently in 9th grade. He doesn't have any accommodations for school. He said his favorite food is enchiladas and his least favorite food is menudo. And he just enjoys playing football. He did have an incident right before he was placed. He got caught with a vape that contained THC at Friendship. And he was put in ISS. And so whenever he was moved to Amarillo, I believe they had him in AEP.
Okay, why did we move him?
The Manus placement where he was residing, they put in a 30-day notice.
Because of the vaping?
No, this was prior to that.
Okay. What was the notice for?
First, they had said that Gabriel had wanted to be placed in a different placement, and then they said that he had changed his mind, but they didn't change their mind. They went on ahead and went with just a different placement for him.
He was upset because Jeremiah was moved, but he had come back and reconciled to staying where he was, but they refused to keep him. Then they changed their mind again, and it was a big mess. And basically, that all affected his ability to be in a foster home here. That the foster home here thought he was the problem. He was not the problem. So he's in the children's home there.
Okay, we'll come back to all that, but any medical issues with Gabe?
No, ma'am.
Okay, any school issues? Are we behind? Are we?
He was getting accommodations for school, but Gabriel told me while he was living with the Manus family that they had encouraged him to not use the accommodations if he didn't need it. So he said that they took him out of the accommodations. So he said whenever he was going to be moving to Amarillo that he would not be having school with any accommodations. I know his grades are a little low. Prior to moving, he was really low grades in 2 classes, but he was working to bring those up.
Okay, maybe we need to set up an ARD for him pretty quickly.
Okay.
Let's do that and see if he needs any accommodations. See what we can do to get his grades back on track.
Yes, ma'am, we will do that.
Okay. What is the plan for Gabe?
He does not want to be adopted.
Okay, has he done PAL?
He has been in touch with the PAL. He's 16 years old. He just specifically said he does not want to be adopted from anyone.
Okay, but I think I read in a report that he did PAL. Is that right, Ms. Eberly?
I was thinking he had completed PAL, but I think he at least started it.
I don't think he completed PAL, Your Honor. I will double check in that. I do know he started with PAL, but I don't think he has completed that.
Okay, let's make sure we get him re-enrolled and finish that program.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Becky and Paloma, are they placed together?
Yes, they are placed with Sheila Magazi. And Paloma is in 6th grade. Becky is in 3rd grade at Paloma's doing good. She has no accommodations at this time. She likes art. Recently, CASA had spoke with her and wanted to get Paloma and Becky both in counseling. So I'm setting that up with Wilbanks. I'm just waiting for Dr. Wilbanks to get back to me. Paloma did have an incident. She was bit by Placement's pit bull on her face, and she was taken to the emergency room.
And Your Honor, just for the record, we just found out about that right before this court hearing. So we have not been able to notify all the parties. We thought we could just notify everybody during this court hearing because we just got that information.
Do you need stitches?
No stitches.
Okay, and is this a foster home?
No, it's a relative.
Right, we knew about this pit bull.
Yes, Your Honor. Whenever I went, the pit bull, it's a small little pit bull, it's still a baby, and they had it always in a cage whenever I would go.
Okay, any other medical concerns with either Becky or Paloma?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, and how are they doing in school?
Paloma is doing phenomenal in school. She has really good grades. She just doesn't always like the girls in her grade, but there's a typical little girl. Becky's, she has no accommodations at this time, but she's working on bringing up some of her grades. And she has tutoring for reading and math at this time.
Okay, and what do they like to do for fun?
Paloma likes to do all kinds of different art. And she likes to play with the dog. Becky likes to play with her Barbies and be on her iPad. And she is so full of energy.
Do they, tell me, did the siblings all see each other? Do they have good contact
Yes.
with each other?
Your Honor, they see each other every Friday with their mom for an hour.
Okay, and what about Augie?
Augustine is placed in Amarillo with Adriana Stamps.
Is that a foster home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how is he doing?
He's doing good. He does have some behavior issues and she's works with him. She's very patient with him. She redirects him, encourages him. When I went to see him last, he actually was able to read me a book because he does struggle in school. He's a little bit behind. He is currently in 2nd grade. He attends speech at school. He is in the 504 program and sped for 30 minutes to an hour a day at school. He likes Star Wars. His favorite color is blue and purple. He likes to ride his bike in Avengers. He was telling me about all the characters. He's a very loving boy.
Tell me about the behaviors. What are we talking about there? Give me an example.
He's been hitting a particular little girl. I believe Adriana just messaged me that last week that he had an incident at school where he, I think, smushed this little girl's fingers. I know he used to kick. And she said, when she asked Augustine what had happened, that he said he just wanted more attention from his brother Gabriel.
Okay. Do we think maybe he needs some therapy too?
He does have therapy. He does go to therapy weekly.
Okay, and I'm assuming that those behaviors are being addressed in therapy?
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, what about Jeremiah?
Jeremiah is a very loving little boy. He attends daycare. His favorite color is orange. He has no accommodations. He loves to play his little basketball in his room. And he's placed with a relative. Her name is Lenise Finnenan. He has a very beautiful smile and he's just a very beautiful soul. Just so sweet.
Okay, any medical issues or anything, any behaviors, anything going on with Jeremiah?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, is he on target, do we think?
Yes.
Okay. Miss Ebeling, concerns with these kiddos?
Not really. I think the Amarillo placement is maybe going to be good for Gabriel in talking with his house mother. They have some really good programs there. She had some understandings from St. Francis about some things that could and could not be done. And I talked to Jennifer Garlett last week while we were in court. And apparently some of those things are not correct. And she said if there are issues that he's not allowed to do something, to contact her, and she will make sure that the rules are being followed, and things like overnights, like with a church program that's strictly supervised, those kinds of things that he would probably enjoy doing as his levels progress, but I think they have some very intentional things about working with him. Becky and Paloma both are very happy where they are. They're glad they're placed where they are. I don't think I realized that the scratch on her face was from a puppy, but hopefully that's something they can address. If it is a puppy, then I think that is definitely different than a large dog. I was not able to connect with Miss Stamps, but I see that she's on and she can add anything too. The box that's Nisi is Jeremiah's placement, and we were able to visit the other day, and he appears to be super happy with her, and it's just doing really well. He was happy, chatty, couldn't smile and laugh and talk enough. He was just doing great. So I think overall things are going pretty well.
Okay, Casa, anything to add?
I do want to add a couple of things when it comes to Gabe. I do think the girls are doing well. They need to get some eye exams, which are scheduled this month. They both need counseling. Becky has been having some outburst, and I've talked to St. Francis, both Jennifer Garlett and Jalissa, about that. And I know they were working with Sheila and Sam to get that set up for them so they can get them girls into counseling now that they're here, because they haven't been in counseling since they were in Plainview. And I think that will help both of them. Becky probably needs it more, but when I asked the girls when I was there, I asked Paloma, would you like counseling? And she said yes. I think that's something that we should offer her, because apparently if she says yes, there's something that she feels she needs to talk about. So I think it would be very helpful for Paloma as well as Becky. I agree, Jeremiah is doing very well in the placement. They've moved into a new daycare and seems to be doing very well. I have visits with both the girls and Jeremiah this week. As far as Augie, I actually had an in-person meeting with him when I went to a family visit with them, so I could see him here in Lubbock. Him and Jeremiah got along great. They played, they were having so much fun together. I think all the siblings really enjoyed the family time together where they got to spend time together. And that was nice to see. As far as Gabe, there are some things going on with Gabe right now in school. He got detention in Friendship High School for getting caught with a vape. And those records were not transferred up to the new school in Amarillo right away, so they were not aware of it. I have spoken with the Amarillo shelter finally, and he apparently was caught again last Friday, not this past Friday, the Friday before, which was right after he had just gotten there with vape again. And so the concern is Gabe going down the wrong path right now. We don't want to see that happen. So I'd like to see Gabe get back into counseling. When I had talked to Sharon Hensley, she's not going to be continuing counseling with Gabe because she doesn't think a Zoom counseling appointment with Gabe is going to really be the most beneficial with them. So she suggested that Gabe go to the counselor that Augie is going to, because they would be more familiar with the case and the family dynamics and so forth. But I am concerned about Gabe and the vaping. He got caught here in Lubbock, he got caught in Amarillo, and I just want to see some safeguards around that. I did talk to the shelter in Amarillo about that. They did suggest, and I'm going to say this, I know there's going to be some pushback on this, but I'm going to say this. They did say that they can do some drug testing there at the shelter. They have the ability to do that. I know from my CASA advocacy coordinator, Kristen, that's not allowed unless it's ordered by the child's physician. And I understand that, but I also think there needs to be something there that tells Gabe that the possibilities are there. He needs to be really careful on his actions so he doesn't go down the wrong path. And that's what I'm concerned with him on right now, as well as his grades, because his grades were slipping when all this transition started happening.
Let's get Gabe in some therapy and let's try that first.
Yes.
And make it clear, Ms. Garlett, that we're going to get him in therapy and we're going to try this. And if we see any more incidents with the vaping or any other use of drug, that we will be a little bit more strict about the rules. And
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Bouts, any concerns on behalf of your client? Any additional concerns?
I don't think there's any additional concerns. I do believe she joined us, Judge, so she's down in the corner.
Yes, Mom, I'm here.
Do you have any concerns about the kids?
No, I just was, Gabriel would really need the counseling.
Okay, Ms. Pinger, this is a case where we did not terminate rights and parents are continuing to work services. Do we have anything to report to the court regarding the parents' participation?
I don't, Judge. I've got to visit with Deidre on this. I know there are a couple of these cases where we've discussed which docket this ought to be on. I can visit with her about that. Are you asking basically if there's been an updated order for actions?
I think there was a supplemental order for actions at the final hearing. And it looks like the report indicates that Ms. Zapata is participating in testing clean, but recently has some housing issues.
Yes, ma'am. I will visit with Deidre and see if that's something that we're wanting to put back on.
Yes.
One of the
Tuesday put this on a Tuesday docket, and I'm not sure why this case was put on this docket to begin with, but this needs to be on a Tuesday docket.
Okay, and I'll send an email to her and copy you and Estella on that, because I think there's another one I'll visit with you about here pretty quickly coming up that I think we're going to do the same.
Okay, for now, I'm going to set it for another review hearing August the 14th at 10. Ms. Hudman, any concerns on behalf of your clients? I don't know involved.
Well, I wouldn't say a concern, but my client, Jeremy Finnenan, who's in the Lubbock County Detention Center, has requested phone or FaceTime tablet visits with Jeremiah. And I wanted to put that out there that is something that he is requesting.
Okay. Ms. Murray, any concerns on behalf of Mr. Ortiz?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to set it on August the 14th at 10, which is another Monday docket, but we'll probably move that to a Tuesday docket once you visit with Ms. Ward and we figure out a plan.
Sounds good. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, anything else?
No, ma'am.
I think I would just like to ask for a therapist review before Jeremiah has any type of face-to-face visitation with Mr. Finneran.
Well, I mean, he's a 3-year-old. Is he? He's not in counseling, is he?
That's what I was double checking. I think my notes show he's seeing Sharon Hensley.
Oh, okay.
Jeremiah saw Dr. Wilbanks when they were doing the transition to Lenice's, so he's seen her.
Okay, this is part of the problem. I don't know near enough about parents' progress and services or any. This is not the right docket for this case. Not sure why it got put on this one. So we're going to move it to a Tuesday docket and address these sorts of issues in a permanency hearing before final order, because this is not anywhere near permanency. Okay, anything else? The parties identified?
No.
Julie Panger with the department. Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Will Ratton.
Okay, tell me about Joshua. He looks like in a SIL placement in Houston.
He is. He's maintained that placement, I guess, since September the 2nd when he turned 18 years old. He's had some changes in what he's doing. Initially, he was working and they asked him to go back to school, finish and graduate, and in June they would put him back to work doing construction, but mostly he was learning how to install solar panels and making some really good money at that. He started out in Momentum, a school, an alternative school in Houston. Another student, 6'7", I'm told, and from the videos it looked so, crossed the room and slapped him 3 different times, and nobody did anything until Joshua got up and told the man finally that he disrespected him the other student stood up and started swinging on him. And because he didn't let the man hit him, the school expelled him for the rest of the semester, saying that he didn't allow the man to defend himself. Well, that wasn't the perspective that I had on the matter. They didn't do anything to stop this other individual. Anyway, he's out of that school program. He started in Mometrics in an online self-paced program. We're still hoping, and he could very definitely graduate by May if he just will do the work. He's very capable. When I first got the case, he was in another psych hospitalization back in September. And I thought his IQ was so low and that he was so mentally unhealthy that he really scared me. But he's actually a very bright young man. He's been doing very well on a day-to-day basis, but he called me Friday and told me that he has gone on vacation for the long Easter weekend and checked into a hotel. He did manage to work a couple of days last week for the construction business to have some money. Very strange behavior, not anything that is too alarming. He's supposed to be back today.
Okay. The report indicated that we were looking at a GED because of being expelled, but it looks like maybe we're back to wanting to graduate.
We've made so many changes in his education program and trying to get him into different things in the last month that at that time that was the course of action with the GED program. And that then the director there told me that she was able to find this other program that's an alternative high school. So I'm hoping that means graduation. That's what I'm hearing. And we will have to wait and see.
Okay, so he does qualify for the still placement. Because
he does, and remarkably so. And just as soon as he starts that construction job, he can keep staying there. We haven't made any progress on getting his driver's license though. So that's something that I'm trying to get him to focus on.
Okay, does he have his other documents, his social security and birth certificate?
He does. He does, and he's maintained them quite well, unlike some of my clients. I'm learning a lot about going back and forth to request new documents.
Okay, does Joshua need anything?
Oh my God.
Not that I'm aware of at this time. He seems to be making better use of the $400 a month stipend that he receives, in addition to what little he can pick up right now from his construction job, since he's not actively working most of the time. We do have mental health services still set up. He's not availing himself of those as much, but those are services that could stay with him the rest of his life, particularly through AFN, where they offer case management services. And it really does look like what we need to see for him going forward when we get out of his life eventually.
Okay, is he on any medications? Is he taking his meds?
He's off of medications currently and trying to make a go of it without medications. So far, so good. I'm a little leery. His director was trying to get him on injectables that would need less frequent occurrence of delivery. But they told us at the hospital they were going to put him on injectables. And then when they released him, we talked to the doctor's nurse practitioner, and there weren't injectables for most of his medications known to even exist. So that was just kind of chasing rabbits down holes, I guess. Wasn't possible just due to some of his behaviors in the past. And we we're really trying to get him medication that we could monitor more closely with him being in a placement without actually having a caregiver.
Okay. Anything else on Joshua?
No, Your Honor, he's been very healthy. He's been, I was trying to get him to participate today, but I was not able to get a hold of him again this morning to make that happen.
Okay. I understand. But I'm glad he's working and glad he's in school. Sounds good. Okay, we'll have another services
Julie
review.
Payne with the
August
department,
14th
also
at 10.
present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Heather Eubanks.
Jennifer Garlett, supervisor.
Ariel,
Let's see, Mark. Go ahead.
sorry, Ariel Estrada and Terry with CASA.
Lindsay Murray, attorney for the mother, Casey Garcia, who I believe should also be present.
She is.
Terry Morganson, attorney ad litem for the child.
Okay, Lorena is with her grandmother Cecilia.
Yes, ma'am, she is.
How's she doing in that home?
She's doing good. She's just the sweetest, happiest little kid ever. She's full of life. She loves all girl things. She loves to play outside. She loves to be inside. She every time I'm there, she likes to show me her tablet and how she's watching Daniel Tiger. She loves Daniel Tiger. She speaks very well. She's very able to tell you her wants and her needs. She's very bonded to her grandmother. She's also bonded to her mother, Casey. When I come to visit her, she always says, "Are you going to take me to go play with Casey?" So she's a very sweet little girl. She is not on any type of medications. She's up to date on her medical. She just recently had a dental and there were no concerns. So she's just a sweet, sweet little girl. She is in a 4-year-old program. There are some concerns. So she will end up having an ARD at the beginning of next year to address those concerns that they're having with her being able to keep up with the kids her age.
All right, Ms. Morganson, concerns with Lorena?
No, ma'am.
CASA?
The only concern that I have is that I was under of the understanding that Casey would have regular drug tests before her visits with Lorena, and I don't, from what I have seen, there's no evidence of her having the drug tests done. Her visits with Lorena are appropriate. They're good. There is a bond between them, and Lorena's happy to see her. But I don't know if everything's being followed. According to her teacher, she is doing well. She does have some behavior issues at times when she doesn't get her way, but they just continue to work on that. And as far as the ARD goes, I will attempt to be at the ARD when they have it.
Yes, absolutely. Let's invite the ad litem certainly to the ARD. Okay, Ms. Garcia, I know you're at work. Ms. Murray, do you have, okay.
I'm off today. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you have any concerns regarding Lorena?
Not at this moment.
Okay. All right. I know this is another one of those cases where mom is continuing to work services. We're in PMC, and I'm not really sure what the plan. I know there was an agreement in lieu of a jury trial, but I'm not sure of the plan.
Judge Deidre and I, Ms. Ward and I have spoken recently, emailed back and forth, and this is a case that she's intending to take back onto the Tuesday docket. And so this was the other one that I was referring to earlier. So I'll visit with her and copy Estella on that and see if we can get that set back onto your Tuesday docket.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move this one and the Zapata case to a Tuesday docket, but I kind of need to know the plan first.
Your Honor, if I can, just for a second, we have received some information that does not necessarily align with what Casey Garcia has told us. We do have some concerns. We would like for either we have sent her for some drug testing. She has attended some UAs. She usually does not go on the day we send her. She will go on a day or two later. We have sent her for a hair strand. She has refused. She also has not taken her own nail test, which she was supposed to do in January. So we would ask for either a court-ordered hair strand or a court-ordered nail test to be taken by Casey Garcia. And I definitely think that this needs to be moved to the Tuesday docket so we can seek permanency. We do have some information that is concerning to us, and we would like to see permanency for Lorena.
Okay, I will order a hair strand and a nail test to be done by the mother by 3 o'clock today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I'm sorry, if we could specifically tell my client right now what location she needs to go to.
That would be Medical Solutions for both.
Thank you.
Okay, for now, I'm going to put it back on the, I'm going to set it for another review hearing on this docket, August the 14th at 10. But I think Ms. Ward maybe can send out an email and let me know how soon to put this on a Tuesday docket and the plan. We need to figure out permanency and what the permanency plan is before I can really set it anywhere. But for now, it'll be
Here
August
with the
14th.
department, also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist, Kristen Anwell.
Supervisor Amanda Roberts.
Belinda Ebling, attorney ad litem for the girls. I believe Juliana is present with Krista Carter placement.
Good. Okay. Tell me about the girls. We are with a cousin.
Yes, ma'am. We are
Krista?
placed with Krista Carter. She's a cousin of both girls. Cambry and Juliana are doing really well. Cambry enjoys fishing, going to parks, hanging out with her boyfriend. She loves reading. She's reading the Percy Jackson series books right now. She's doing really well in school. She is passing all of her classes. There's no medical or dental updates. They're doing really well. She's not on any medication right now. She has stopped taking that, and she tells me that she feels 100% better. She feels like herself. She doesn't feel drowsy anymore.
Awesome.
Juliana is doing really well also. Juliana enjoys skating and swimming, hanging out with her friends, and playing Fortnite. They both are up to date on medical and dental. Juliana is on amitriptyline and Fludicort right now. She has her inhaler. She's doing really well in school. I did contact the school, and we have a 504 plan for social studies. She's not failing the class, but she does have a 66 in there, which they are getting that up. Other than that, both girls are doing really well. We're working on getting along. We did have issues with them fighting all the time. And I've gotten with their counselor. They're both seeing Shalana Jacoby at Texas Boys Ranch, and we're going to get them into sibling counseling to work that out.
Okay, Miss Evelyn.
The sibling counseling was one of the issues I wanted to bring up. Also have a concern about the permanency plan.
Okay, let's talk about the sibling counseling.
Okay.
You want to see that happen, or?
Yes, ma'am. They do have some conflicts between them, and I think it would be good. They're both teenagers, and not necessarily unusual that they would have some arguments and things, but I think it would be very helpful there. And that's in addition to their individual counseling.
Okay, I agree. A little sister therapy, I think, would go a long way. Okay, is Cambry, has she started PAL?
She has completed her PAL classes, ma'am.
Very good, very good. Okay. All right, the permanency plan, what is it?
Krista is wanting PMC of the girls, and I believe Julie wanted to speak with her about that, so Krista is actually on today.
Okay.
I'm not sure that's quite it. The home study that was done on the family was done back in the summer, and I think the results came in August. I don't think I have anything in my file that shows what the recommendation was. But the girls were placed there. In December, the plan was still adoption. And then in February, it was changed to PMC because of an RTB and some other history. Mr. Setzer's criminal history, I think, rolls off to 10 years toward the end of this year. But I'm not sure that Ms. Carter was really informed of all the options or how she could pursue it. I think she was informed, and she can speak to this, that she could appeal it, but that it probably would be pointless to do so because CPS just generally doesn't overturn those. So they could certainly use the funding. And I don't really understand why it's okay to give children or give placements permanent custody of children to raise to adulthood, but yet it's not okay for them to adopt. So I'd like to know more about that. I just don't think it's okay. The home study addressed the concerns with the past history that they both had. I think it made some pretty good sense. I don't know if there's been any type of higher up review of all of this, but I personally don't see any reason why they should not be allowed to adopt or at least have a PCA.
What is the status of the home study?
I believe it was denied.
The home study was approved back in August.
Okay. Ms. Ebeline says it's denied.
Well, I thought it was approved initially, but then they're not being allowed to qualify. So that's where I don't understand.
Okay. I think we need to have a meeting where everybody is present and Ms. Carter is informed of all of the benefits that she would be leaving on the table if she takes permanent custody of the girls rather than adopting.
And she wants to adopt. Isn't that right, Krista?
Okay, so I have talked to Kristen about the PMC and about the adoption, and we were denied by the state of Texas because of my husband's criminal history, which, well, they said that they go back for 10 years and that will fall off next year. And I know that with PMC, we don't get anything besides the girls getting a college tuition waiver. So I do know about the process, but I was just wondering why we couldn't wait until that fell off.
You absolutely can. And you have the right to fight that. And I would encourage you to go further in the process and to figure out how to appeal that RTB finding or just wait. There are many, many options, and I would encourage St. Francis to discuss all of the options with the placement and not rush anything, and make sure this family gets all of the benefits that they need in order to make this a permanent and good placement for these girls.
Judge,
and I'll just ask, is there a document that says they don't get these benefits because of the home study? Because if it's approved, I don't know where the disconnect is that they don't qualify.
I believe I was trying to look back to refresh myself. I believe it was denied. We approved placement, but the homestay itself was denied. But I will pull that up and we can have a meeting with everybody and make sure we're all on the same page.
Let's do that.
I agree with that, Judge, and I'll send an email out so that we can get everyone together and visit about that to make sure that Ms. Carter is aware of what all of her options are.
Very good. Okay, Ms. Carter, though, no concerns with the girls. Do they need anything at all? That we have
right now they have everything Cambry needs, like underwear and stuff, but I'm sure we can get that. She's gained a little bit of weight, so none of her underwear's fitting anymore.
Okay, maybe some clothing vouchers and that sort of thing for the placement.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for taking care of the girls. All right, we'll have another review hearing.
Julie Pinger for the department. Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Todd Cogdill.
Jennifer Garlett, Supervisor.
Okay, Mr. Cogdill, we have Jim Shaw is involved in a jury trial this morning, so he couldn't be here. But tell me how the boys are doing. Are they in the same foster home?
Yes, Your Honor. They're still in the same foster home in Denton County. Reported that they're doing really well there. No issues in the placement. Jughiah, he is still having some minor misbehaviors at school, but it's kind of his typical behaviors. He is in the SPED program and receiving accommodations. Jughiah just recently had a birthday, so he is 3 now. He's doing well at daycare. Both are current on their medical and dental well checks. Jughiah is attending therapy through the Children's Advocacy of North Texas. And I'm receiving reports that that is going well and is helping. I do not believe there have been any changes in the medications. Jughiah is taking several for, he's on a high blood pressure med, ADHD, and I believe they both have allergy type symptoms. So Jughiah should be on allergy meds as well. The subsidy paperwork has been submitted for both of them. It has been approved and forwarded. Ms. Amon has not been contacted yet regarding negotiation for subsidy amounts, but hopefully that will occur this week. We have a proposed placement date set for the end of May, and hopefully we will be able to get a consummation hearing scheduled for an adoption.
Okay, so we're all done with the appeals and the mandate is back. We're good to go on the adoption.
Yes,
Yes,
Your Honor.
yes, Judge, and I double checked that and that mandate is back.
All right, very good.
Not that I can think of, Your Honor. I believe I've covered everything.
Very good. All right, we'll have another review hearing if we need
Julie
one.
Panger with the department. Also present is St. Francis Permanency Specialist Shanika White.
Supervisor Dickerson, attorney ad litem.
Abby Gutierrez with CASA.
Gary Henderson with CASA.
Okay, these kiddos are still with their Rusty family.
Yes, ma'am, they are.
How are they doing in that home?
They are doing great. Norma turned 14. She had a party at a skating ranch, which she really loved. She had a few close friends in her, and her family was there. She just finished with track. She did the 400, 800, 4x2, and 4x1, which are relays. She is hoping to do softball, volleyball, you name it, she wants to do it. Eduardo, he's doing good. He's passing in school. Football is coming up, so he wants to do that. Adon, he's doing fairly well in school. He is having to do tutoring after school for some missing work, but he is passing. He wants to do football, so hopefully this upcoming season he can do that. Emelina, she wants to do softball. She's passing as well, and she is also in tutoring.
Okay, no, it doesn't sound like it because we're all athletes in the family, it sounds like, but do we have any sort of medical issues?
Emelina was having trouble with blood pressure problems, but it's been a while. There's no medication for her.
Okay. In any sort of academic concerns, it looks like maybe Emelina has dyslexia. Do we have some modifications in school to help?
Yes, ma'am, she does.
Any other academic issues with any of the children?
No, ma'am.
Okay, any sort of behavior concerns?
The rescues are still having a little trouble with the Don. He has gotten in trouble in school previously. He is becoming a little more aggressive with his brother at home. I was able to find him a psychologist to do the ADHD testing. He does counseling, and he can prescribe meds if he needs that. So that is currently being set up by Angie.
Okay. All right, Ms. Dickerson, additional concerns regarding the children?
No, Your Honor, we had a professionals meeting a while back, and I think we discussed a lot of options, and things are going better. And I think the kids are doing better, doing well.
Good. CASA, additional concerns?
No, now that we've got the ADHD testing hopefully set up for Adon, I believe that we're good.
Okay. I think one of the reports indicated that we have an adoption soon.